I am Jarvis, your storyteller. Welcome to the Science Fiction Exploration. If you like the story, please subscribe to our channel.
The warning unheeded. The Grand Council chamber of the Xylaxian High Command buzzed with anticipation. Towering figures with iridescent scaled skin and six-fingered hands moved about the massive circular room, their ceremonial armor gleaming under the light of three artificial suns suspended from the domed ceiling. This was the beating heart of the most powerful empire the galaxy had ever known, the Xylaxian Dominion, rulers of over 10,000 star systems and conquerors of countless civilizations. Grand Admiral Zorix, the supreme commander of the Xylaxian military forces, stood at the center of the chamber, his imposing 9-foot frame radiating confidence and authority. His deep violet eyes scanned the room as the council members took their seats around the holographic projection table. "The human delegation has arrived," announced a slender Xylaxian aide, bowing deeply. Zorix's mouth twisted into what passed for a smile among his species. "Send them in. Let's see what these primitives have to say." The massive doors slid open, and three humans entered the chamber. Despite being dwarfed by the Xylaxians, Admiral Alara Voss walked with unwavering confidence. Her silver-streaked black hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her piercing blue eyes took in every detail of the chamber. Flanking her were Dr. Marcus Trent, Earth's leading astrophysicist, and Lieutenant Jackson Reed, her security officer. The humans looked small and fragile compared to their hosts, but Admiral Voss's voice carried throughout the chamber with surprising authority. "Grand Admiral Zorix, esteemed members of the High Command, I bring greetings from Earth and the United Terran Alliance." Zorix gestured dismissively. Yes. We've received your concerns. Please state your business quickly. The High Command has more pressing matters to attend to." Admiral Voss nodded, unperturbed by the cold reception. "We've come to discuss your plans for the Altair star system, specifically your intention to establish a quantum energy harvesting station around the neutron star Altairus B." Dr. Trent stepped forward, activating a holographic display from his wrist device. A detailed model of the Altairus binary star system appeared above the projection table, the neutron star pulsing with dangerous energy. "Our advanced stellar modeling has detected unique properties in Altairus B, Dr. Trent explained, his voice steady despite the dismissive looks from the Xylaxian scientists. "The neutron star exists in a delicate gravitational equilibrium with its companion. Our calculations indicate that any significant energy extraction will destabilize this equilibrium, potentially triggering a chain reaction that could collapse the entire star system." Admiral Voss continued, "Furthermore, the resulting gravitational waves would propagate through the surrounding sectors, potentially affecting up to 17 inhabited systems, including 3 of your major colony worlds." Murmurs rippled through the Xylaxian Council, but they were quickly silenced by Zorix's raised hand. "Fascinating theory," replied Science Director Meeser, his voice dripping with condescension. "Perhaps impressive for a species that has barely mastered interstellar travel. However, our civilization has been harvesting stellar energy for millennia. Our models show no such risk." "With respect, Director," Dr. Trent persisted, "we've observed phenomena in this particular neutron star that you may have overlooked. The core exhibits quantum fluctuations that—" "Enough," Zorix interrupted. "You expect us to believe that your primitive science has detected something our advanced civilization has missed? Humans have been spacefaring for what, less than 2 centuries? We were harvesting stars when your ancestors were still discovering fire." The chamber filled with the clicking sounds of Xylaxian laughter. Admiral Voss remained composed. "We understand your skepticism, Admiral. That's why we've brought comprehensive data and are willing to share our research methodology. All we ask is that you delay the project for 6 standard months while your scientists review our findings." Zorix exchanged glances with Meeser, who gave an almost imperceptible shake of his head. "Your concern is noted, Admiral Voss," Zorix replied coolly. "However, the Altairus harvesting station is a cornerstone of our expansion into the Orion Spur. It will proceed as scheduled. Lieutenant Reed tensed beside Admiral Voss, but she placed a calming hand on his arm. "Then we must formally register our protest," she said, her voice carrying a note of genuine regret. "And deliver this warning: if you proceed with the Alteris project, you risk not only the destruction of several star systems but the destabilization of your empire itself." The chamber erupted in indignant clicks and hisses. "Is that a threat, human?" growled War Minister Dravik, his hand moving to the ceremonial blade at his hip. "Not a threat," Admiral Voss replied calmly. "A warning. There are forces in this universe that even the mighty Xylaxian Empire cannot control. We've seen the simulations. We know what will happen." Zorix rose to his full height, towering over the human delegation. "Your warning has been received, Admiral. Now allow me to give you one in return. Do not mistake our patience for weakness. The Xylaxian Dominion does not take kindly to threats, veiled or otherwise. This meeting is concluded," he announced to the chamber. "The human delegation will be escorted back to their vessel." As guards moved to surround them, Admiral Voss made one last attempt. "Grand Admiral, I implore you." "You have been dismissed, Admiral Voss," Zorix stated flatly. "Return to your Earth. Tell your leaders that the Xylaxian Empire acknowledges your concerns but finds them without merit." Back aboard their ship, the Horizon, Lieutenant Reed couldn't contain his frustration any longer. "They didn't even look at our data. Those arrogant, scaled. They're an empire, Lieutenant," Admiral Voss interrupted, gazing out at the massive Xylaxian fleet surrounding their small diplomatic vessel. "They've conquered thousands of worlds and faced no meaningful resistance for centuries. Arrogance is inevitable." Dr. Trent shook his head sadly. "Our models are correct, Admiral. If they proceed with the harvesting station, the gravitational distortion will begin within weeks. Within 6 months, the neutron star will become unstable. After that—" "I know, Marcus," Voss replied softly. "Prepare a full report for Fleet Command. We need to accelerate our defensive preparations." The Horizon disengaged from the Xylaxian docking station, its engines pushing it away from the massive orbital structure that served as the Empire's diplomatic hub. On the bridge of his flagship, Grand Admiral Zorix watched the tiny human vessel depart. "Amusing creatures," remarked Science Director Meeser, who had joined him. "To think they believe their primitive science could detect something we missed." Zorix nodded absently. "Have you reviewed their data?" "Briefly," Meeser replied with a dismissive wave. "Standard gravitational models with some creative interpretations. Nothing our scientists haven't considered and dismissed already." "Good. The Alteris project cannot be delayed. The Emperor expects the first energy shipments within a standard year. And he shall have them," Meeser assured him. "The humans' warning is nothing more than the desperate attempt of a minor species to appear relevant on the galactic stage." As the Horizon jumped to lightspeed, Admiral Voss took one last look at the Xylaxian command station shrinking in the distance. "They're making a mistake," she said quietly. "They'll realize soon enough," replied Dr. Trent, his eyes grim. "But by then, it'll be too late." 6 weeks later, on the bridge of the Horizon, now stationed at Earth's defensive perimeter, Admiral Voss received the first report. The quantum harvesting station at Alteris B had gone online. Initial energy production had exceeded Xylaxian expectations. And the first, almost imperceptible gravitational anomalies had begun to appear at the edge of the system, exactly as humanity had predicted. "Send word to Fleet Command," Admiral Voss ordered, her face solemn. "Operation Cassandra is now active. May whatever gods might exist have mercy on us all." The warning had been given. The Xylaxians had laughed. Now the countdown to the Empire's reckoning had begun. The first tremors. 3 months after the Xylaxian Empire activated their quantum harvesting station at Alteris B, the first real signs of trouble became impossible to ignore. On the Frontier Monitoring Station Sentinel-7, Commander Tarek Frost studied the holographic display with growing concern. The gravitational readings from the Altaris system were fluctuating wildly, far beyond the parameters Dr. Trent's models had predicted. "How bad is it?" asked Major Olivia Donovan, his second-in-command, her dark eyes fixed on the pulsing red indicators. "Worse than we anticipated," Frost replied, running a hand through his short gray hair. "The neutron star's core oscillations have increased by 300% in just the last week. At this rate, we'll see system-wide instabilities within days, not months." The monitoring station, hidden in an asteroid belt at the edge of human space, had been hastily established after the Xylaxians dismissed humanity's warning. Its sole purpose was to track the developing catastrophe that Earth's scientists had foreseen. "Any response from the Xylaxians to our latest data packet?" Frost asked, though he already knew the answer. Major Donovan shook her head. "The same automated message as before: your concerns have been noted and dismissed by the Science Directorate." Frost's jaw tightened. Arrogant fools. They're sitting on a time bomb and refusing to acknowledge it. The view screen suddenly lit up with an incoming priority transmission from Earth. Admiral Alara Voss's face appeared, her expression grim. "Commander Frost, I've reviewed your latest telemetry. The situation is accelerating faster than our models predicted." "Yes, Admiral. The Xylaxians must have increased their energy extraction rate. They're pulling too much, too quickly." Voss nodded. "We've detected unusual fleet movements near 3 of their colony worlds closest to Altaris. They may be starting to realize something's wrong, though they haven't acknowledged it publicly." "Should we attempt another diplomatic contact?" Frost asked. The Admiral's expression darkened. The diplomatic corps made 3 attempts in the past week alone. Each was rebuffed with increasing hostility. Our ambassador was given 24 hours to leave Xylaxian space yesterday. "They're really going to let this happen?" Donovan said incredulously. "Pride," Voss replied simply. "The Empire has never admitted a mistake in its 1,000-year history. They won't start now, even if it costs them everything." Frost studied the projection of the Altaris system. "What about the neutral worlds in the path of the coming gravitational waves? The Peloran Confederation? The Rigelian Protectorates? We've shared our data with them. Some are beginning evacuations. Others don't believe us either." Voss's eyes narrowed. "But that's not why I'm calling, Commander. We've detected a Xylaxian scout vessel on an intercept course with Sentinel-7. ETA 12 hours. Frost straightened. "They've found us?" "It appears so. Your orders are to evacuate immediately. Wipe the systems and rendezvous with the Defiant at these coordinates." A string of numbers appeared below the Admiral's face. "Understood, Admiral. We'll be underway within the hour." As the transmission ended, Frost turned to Donovan. "Sound the evacuation order. Priority 1 protocols." "You think they mean to attack us?" she asked, already moving toward the command console. "I think the Xylaxian Empire doesn't appreciate witnesses to their mistakes," Frost replied grimly. "And I think they're looking for someone to blame." On the Xylaxian Imperial Dreadnought Relentless Conquest, Fleet Commander Dravex stormed through the bridge, his scales darkening with rage. The latest report from the Altaris installation had confirmed his worst fears. "Where is Science Director Meeser?" he demanded of his subordinates. "In the main laboratory, Commander," replied his aide, Lieutenant Kresh, keeping a safe distance from his volatile superior. Dravex found Meeser surrounded by holographic displays, his scientific team working frantically to make sense of the cascading failures occurring throughout the Altaris system. "Explain this," Dravex thundered, throwing a data tablet onto Meeser's workstation. The display showed a simulation of catastrophic gravitational waves radiating from Altaris B, engulfing nearby systems. Meeser's normally confident demeanor had vanished, replaced by harried desperation. "We're experiencing some Unexpected quantum resonance effects within the neutron star's core. Nothing we can't handle. Nothing we can't handle. Dravex repeated incredulously. 3 outposts on the system's edge have already been destroyed by gravitational shears. The harvesting station reports that control systems are failing. Meeser flinched. The humans' data, it appears their models may have identified certain properties we overlooked. The humans, Dravex spat. The same primitives you and Zorix dismissed. The ones who warned us exactly what would happen. This is merely a temporary setback, Meeser insisted, though his voice lacked conviction. We're implementing countermeasures that will stabilize the neutron star within days. A junior scientist approached hesitantly. Director, the new simulations you requested. She handed him a data tablet, her hands trembling slightly. Meeser's eyes widened as he reviewed the information. The color drained from his face. What is it? Dravex demanded. The quantum cascade has reached a critical threshold, Meeser replied hoarsely. The countermeasures won't be sufficient. We're projecting a complete neutron star collapse within 20 standard days. And the gravitational waves? Meeser could barely meet his commander's gaze. They'll reach our colony worlds within 30 days after collapse. Morkai, Xylaxis Prime, the hegemony worlds, all will experience devastating gravitational distortions. Billions of lives. Dravex seized Meeser by his ceremonial collar. You assured the High Command this project was safe. You ridiculed the humans' warnings. Our models didn't account for the quantum fluctuations they identified, Meeser admitted, his voice a whisper. I didn't believe. I couldn't believe their primitive science could surpass ours. Dravex released him with a disgusted shove. The Emperor must be informed immediately. And prepare a full evacuation order for all systems within the projected impact radius. But Commander, evacuating billions of citizens would require our entire fleet. The panic, the resources needed. Would you prefer they die, Director? Dravex turned to his communications officer. Send word to Grand Admiral Zorix. The humans were right. His eyes narrowed dangerously. And find me those humans. Their monitoring station near the Farron cluster, I want it located and captured. If anyone knows how to stop this catastrophe, it's them. Back on Sentinel-7, evacuation was proceeding rapidly. The station's small complement of 30 personnel worked efficiently, transferring critical data and destroying everything that couldn't be moved. Last of the sensor logs are transferred, reported Lieutenant Wei, the station's chief science officer. Detonation charges are set throughout the facility. Frost nodded approvingly. Good work. Is the shuttle prepped? Fueled and ready, sir, Wei confirmed. But there's something else you should see. He led Frost to the main sensor array, where a new alert flashed ominously. We've detected a massive energy spike in the Altera system, Wei explained, pulling up the readings. The neutron star's rotation has increased by nearly 20% in the last hour. Frost studied the data, his expression grave. They've lost control of the harvester. Complete cascade failure, Wei agreed. And there's more. We've detected multiple Xylaxian vessels departing the system at emergency speed. Military and civilian. They're running, Frost realized. They've finally figured out what they've done. Major Donovan's voice came over the comm, Commander, we have another problem. Long-range sensors have picked up 3 more Xylaxian vessels entering this sector. Warships, moving fast. Time to arrival. Less than 6 hours. We've been cut off from our evacuation route. Frost exchanged a worried glance with Wei before responding. Change of plans. Accelerate the evacuation. I want everyone off this station in 30 minutes. And contact the Defiant. Tell Captain Reeves we need immediate extraction, danger close. He turned to Wei. And prepare a tight beam transmission to Earth Command. They need to know the collapse has begun. As the crew scrambled to complete the evacuation, Frost remained at the command center, monitoring both the approaching Xylaxian vessels and the increasingly alarming data from Altaris. The neutron star was dying, its death throes already sending deadly ripples across the fabric of space. On Earth, in the fortified command center beneath the Terran Defense Headquarters, Admiral Voss received Commander Frost's urgent transmission. The gathered military and scientific leaders watched in stunned silence as the data projected the accelerated timeline of destruction. "It's happening even faster than we feared," Dr. Trent murmured, his face ashen as he studied the projections. The Xylaxians must have increased the harvesting rate despite the early warning signs. "How long do we have?" asked Fleet Admiral Harrison, the imposing head of Earth's defense forces. "At current progression, total neutron star collapse will occur in approximately 2 weeks, Trent replied. After that, the gravitational waves will begin to propagate outward at near light speed. The first Xylaxian colonies will be hit within a month. And Earth? Voss asked quietly. Trent hesitated. The waves will be significantly attenuated by the time they reach us, but will still experience severe gravitational distortions. Our planetary defense systems should mitigate the worst effects, but it won't be pleasant. Admiral Harrison turned to Voss. What about Commander Frost and the monitoring team? The Defiant is en route for emergency extraction, but Xylaxian warships are converging on their position, she replied. Captain Reeves is one of our best, but it's going to be close. Harrison's weathered face showed rare concern. They've seen firsthand what's happening. We can't afford to lose them, or let them fall into Xylaxian hands. There's something else, Voss added, pulling up a new intelligence report. We're detecting signs of panic throughout the Xylaxian Empire. Their colonial worlds are mobilizing evacuation efforts. Their military vessels are abandoning forward positions. They know, Harrison concluded. They finally believe what we told them. Yes, Voss agreed. But now they need someone to blame. She looked around the somber gathering. And they've chosen humanity. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The Xylaxian Empire, faced with the consequences of its arrogance, was now turning its rage toward the very people who had tried to prevent the catastrophe. Alert all outposts and colonies, Harrison ordered. Full defensive posture. And prepare a system-wide broadcast. The public needs to know what's coming. As the command center erupted into activity, Admiral Voss stepped aside with Dr. Trent. All those lives, she said quietly. Billions of innocents on those colonies who will suffer because their leaders were too proud to listen. Trent nodded grimly. Pride has always been civilization's deadliest sin. He glanced at the projection showing the collapsing neutron star. The Xylaxian Empire is about to learn that lesson in the harshest possible way. And so are we all, Voss added, watching as the first reports of Xylaxian warships changing course, heading directly toward Earth, began to appear on the tactical display. The first tremors of the Empire's fall had begun. The question now was whether humanity would be crushed beneath its collapsing weight.